All right, everyone, how's it going? You're listening to Lee and Chris. This is our middle of the week episode. So Chris isn't here. It is I believe this is the second or third Lee and Sobey Fun Time. Very good edition of the Lee and Chris show. So Sobey is here, of course. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. Quite a news day we have here.
Yeah, a lot of bad shit today. First and foremost, the most obvious one was this the shooting at the baseball practice of the Congressional Republicans. 5 people shot. So far, the only fatality was the actual shooter himself.
James T. Hodgkinson.
James T. Hodgkinson, and he is to no one's surprise, a Bernie bro. One of the peace-loving, usually mildly retarded Bernie Sanders supporters.
Peace and love, resistance.
Yeah. There was just that stabbing, too. Remember the train station stabbing where the guy stabbed 2 people?
Yeah.
He was another disgusting Bernie bro. This is what you deal with. And these are the people who, they're the democratic socialists. And they, it's all about revolution. And it's these Antifa faggots. And, I don't know. What do you do? Who's even surprised anymore?
No. Well,
at the level of violence?
Perhaps we should point out the level of irony there.
Yeah.
The hate speech. Let's ban all hate speech. Everything is hate speech. Criminalize it. But yet, what may have driven him and what was he big on Twitter and Facebook?
Yeah, and it's starting to come out now. And it was starting to come out just a few hours after it happened. And it is funny when you ever see these shootings, if it's a white guy who does it, even if it's a pinko, how fast they get the guy's face and name up on the television.
Immediately.
Yeah. I think literally, dude, it was like an hour it took.
Really?
Yeah.
I was away, so I just heard on the radio saying that there was a shooting in the morning here. Guess when it was happening.
So, James Hodgkinson, 66, he died in a hospital today after being shot by thank God for the Capitol Police. They showed up in time, and because of the Steve Scalise, who was, from what it sounds like, the most severely injured. He's the House Majority Whip, Republican, obviously, and he was shot in the hip, I think they said?
Yeah, shot in the hip as of now, around 10 o'clock here on Wednesday. They say he was shot in the hip by whatever. I didn't see anything about what caliber he was using.
And the only thing I heard was a pistol and a rifle, and I think I heard AR-15, so probably like 5.56.
Yeah, so it said he was hit in the hip, grazed across the bones, broke the bones in his hip, and damaged internal organs there too, and caused the bleeding. So I guess he's still in critical condition as of now.
Yeah,
but
yeah, as of basically 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on this Wednesday that we're recording this, he's in critical condition. And listen, I don't want to sound fucking stupid, but anytime you're shot, it's not good, right?
No, not really.
And if you're hit with a 5.56, those rounds, I don't want to get too nerdy about the ballistics of it, but those rounds, once they hit bone, their purpose is to fragment off and cause further damage.
Yeah, and tumble, so it probably ripped all along the bone there.
So just like when someone hears like, oh, well, it just grazed his bone. Well, no, that's not how these bullets operate. They fragmentate off of bone, and then that's why you hear it. He has other organs injured because they fly into other places of the body. So even getting grazed by that type of round.
Yeah, who knows what kind of bullets he put in there. If it was a
Yeah.
regular AR, it could have been 223 or 5.56, and maybe even picked a specific hunting round with the ballistic tip on it. But either way,
yeah. So this is a. I'm not going to go out on a limb and say that this is the typical. Obviously, it's not the typical Bernie Sanders supporter. I don't think most of them have the base intelligence or the
wherewithal
to pull something like this off. But this is certainly a familiar sentiment with these Antifa Bernie people.
There still may not be the typical one, but there's still quite a bit, as the Twitter reaction showed.
And the faggots and the pussies, you see them online now, and a lot of people coming out and defending it or mocking the situation.
Not to mention, who knows the others he was like there that he was talking to. I mean, some of his tweets there, it's time to destroy Trump and company. Trump is a traitor. Trump has destroyed our democracy. Plus, all the groups apparently he was working with, anti-Republican groups, one called Terminate the Republican Party. So
yeah, who knows? Maybe the FBI and Homeland Security should knock on a couple doors of these people who he was communicating. Treat him like a fucking Islamic terrorist. Have a chat with some of his family members, or maybe the FBI talked to some of the people who he was in communication with on the internet. Check out some of these groups. I sure hope. Since they always say that our intelligence services aren't being highly politicized, even though I don't know about that, I sure hope no stone is unturned in the investigation into this animal, this pig.
Well, the two that were with Steve Scalise fired back as they were injured.
And they were
in
injured
the dugout.
Too, yeah. That should not go. That should not go without being mentioned. The two Capitol Police, and the only reason they were there is because of Steve Scalise. Because he's the third highest ranking Republican.
Yeah, the House Majority Whip, like you said.
He's the House Majority Whip. That's a big character. So he actually has that police detail with him all the time.
Yeah, so who knows what would have happened? I mean, still, what was it, a lobbyist, Matt Micah, and the congressional staffer Zachary Barth got hit too.
And Rand Paul was there. Other members were there. It's just
truly was a happening.
Yeah, it was a happening, as this old man would say. But I think just, I don't know what to say about something like this. I mean, I guess I'm not surprised. I mean, you look at the level of hysteria that the media, and especially certain people in the media, have ratcheted up these insane people.
Ratcheting up and normalizing it.
Yeah.
Just more and more every day.
Yeah, you see, and and I'm always like saying, and I didn't care too much about the Kathy Griffin thing. But then once again, I don't think like a crazy person. I see that and I think, okay, it's a stupid hack comedian whose career is on, the fritz. So she's throwing whatever shit at the wall to get popular again. You see, Snoop Dogg had a thing where he killed Trump. 9 Inch Nails had a thing where they killed Trump. The Kathy Griffin decapitation photo.
Yeah, what was that? The play in the park there, their Shakespeare on the Green or whatever it's called.
Yeah. Julius Caesar, yes, thank you, from the Peanut Gallery. We know.
Yeah. That's Matt, our production guy.
So you've just seen the normalization of this type of violence. I mean, there was lots of people who talked shit about President Obama. Some of it was completely legitimate, rightfully so. He was a horrible president and a bad person. But, I mean, you never saw stuff like this.
No.
And not to this extent.
No, it was...
And it certainly wouldn't have been...
Well, it's the violent... evil racist whites that never went out and shot or beat anyone.
Not to mention how many death threats, who knows a day on Twitter from to the president. I mean, like, it's just these leftists have a real obsession with violence, and I think hopefully this doesn't happen again. But if it doesn't, I'd be surprised because I think you're going to start, because this is what happens. And see, this is why I get so angry at the whole Russian thing and all these media people who push it, because the Democrats in Congress, they know that there's nothing there. The media knows that it's nothing. They're just pushing a narrative to try to undermine a presidency of a man they despise.
It's a tool for them.
Yeah. There's nothing there. It's a tool. There's no collusion. They're not going to find there's no obstruction of justice. That's the next big thing that dropped today. Once again, anonymous sources said that the Robert Mueller investigation is now looking into Trump obstruction of justice into the Comey firing. They're never going. I mean, maybe you know what? Maybe at the very end they'll find total collusion. He obstructed justice, but as of now, there is zero proof. There is zero evidence. And now these anonymous sources and these leakers are starting to be proven wrong. So they have nothing else, and they should and places like MSNBC or the Daily Beast or Jesus Christ, even CNN, Salon, Mother Jones, these kind of disgusting publications and TV news stations, I tell you what, you really have the blood on your hands for this one, because you're ratcheting up what you know to be a false narrative, and you're selling it to people who are unstable. And now everyone's so surprised that a crazy person who believes in this insanity did what he did. This is your fault. It's 99% the fault of the man who pulled the trigger and did this. But the other 1% is on you. And that's, I think, being too fair. I mean, do you have some of the quotes that he said?
Yeah. What? Well, they're feeding into them and pushing out leaks, and who knows if these leaks, like you said, they're proven to be false, but maybe they were never meant to be true anyway, as per Comey.
Right.
And it turned out he was the leaker. But, yeah, this James Hodgkinson, it's time to destroy Trump and company. So not just Trump,
yeah, everything around him.
Everyone else, Republican supporters, I'm sure. Trump is a traitor. Trump has destroyed our democracy. The road to hell is paved with Republicans. So it's out there. They put it out. They feed into him. He puts his own stuff out, feeds into others probably.
Yeah.
And then someone goes out and does something.
Yes.
Shoots, stabs, beats.
So I guess this started at around 7 a.m. He opened fire from behind third base, behind the third base dugout, as a group of the GOP started batting practice on the field for a charity baseball game that the Republicans and Democrats do every year. And now there's also a witness where he went out, and because now you're going to start hearing, oh, well, you don't know he was targeting Republicans, although that's going away pretty fast, because he asked someone, is that Republicans or Democrats out there right now?
Yeah,
and they told him Republicans. And then all over his Twitter, all over his social media, you could see everything, the stuff that Sobe just read to you. You could see what this troglodyte was thinking. You could. It's not a surprise. We know what he was doing. This was maybe he wasn't looking for Steve Scalise specifically, but this was an attempt at a political assassination, and that's how it should be treated. And I'm going through, like, CNN has some stuff on it. The news has been talking about it, but I'm on like MSN now as my homepage. They had 3 stories talking about this. One about just the main shooting, and 3 other little satellite things about how other GOPers are getting threats of violence now. So, I mean, this element of the left is very prevalent in society. And, I think, sometimes you forget it, and it's certainly never mentioned. And, they try to turn everything around. Well, remember when Trump told his supporters to take him out at the thing and nothing happens? Or Trump said he would pay the legal bills for any of his supporters and nothing happened. These are people who foment violence, encourage violence, and I just hope that the FBI and Department of Homeland Security are watching them closely, because I only think they're going to get worse. I don't see this getting any better.
Definitely. We'll just look at Antifa.
Oh, I mean, we could have a whole other thing dedicated to Antifa.
Yeah, but it's
the same type of person.
They're coalescing together.
Yeah, it's that same type of group that they're going to be the revolution.
Yeah, the hashtag resistance.
Yeah. And they're a bunch of faggots, with fucking gay little flags and gas masks,
black balaclavas.
Yeah, like that one fat Antifa pig cunt who was stabbing the police horse with a nail the other day. I read about, like, that's that's what these people are. They're
I'm sure she would be the first to promote animal rights, too.
Yeah, she's probably a vegan, stabbing a police horse because it's part of the patriarchy. Probably
a male horse, too.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's what's going on today. Like I said, 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. To the most of our knowledge, the only fatality was the shooter himself.
James T. Hodgkinson.
James T. Hodgkinson. Was it really? Yeah. Yeah, so far we only know the one fatality is the shooter, James T. Hodgkinson. The Capitol Police dispatched to him, thank God. Although it would have been nice to get some kind of confession. Not that you need a confession, but to hear his rationale. I would have loved that to be put all over the news.
You could probably imagine what it would be.
And I'm sure we'll find out more about this throughout the week. And
more stuff will probably come out.
But this is the kind of evil that exists on the left, and it's more prevalent than they certainly admit to, and that you'll ever hear in the media.